Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Marky Mayhem. Thanks for joining me today. Okay, you read the title. You're gonna see that this is actually the review of last week's Bachelorette episode part 1. And I know, first of all, yes, April is not here, Mom's not here because I'm still on vacation, hence why this video is so extremely late. But just appreciate me giving my reviews. April will be back next time, not for the next one, but next week she'll be back. So like, don't come at me in the comments being like, oh my god, your mom's here, I hate everything about this video, because I think I'm pretty fun by myself too. I get you guys love my mom, but she'll be back, so don't come at me, bro. Anyways, let's get into this review because boy oh boy, this is gonna be long. I have literally 3 pages of notes in my phone. So first of all, it opens up with Kenny and Lee. Like, literally, the Kenny and Lee situation, over it, been done. Like, from prior episode to this, it's just like, Lee is such a freaking instigator, and he wants to be seen. Like, I'm not even sure if Lee genuinely came on this show because he was interested in dating Rachel, more so than he was just interested in getting under people's skin, and that's exactly what he did. The next thing I put is Brian putting down the moves. Very smooth and serious, but I like it in a for real way. Guys, when I tell you, after watching all these episodes, I'm like, dang, Brian is definitely my top 2. Between him and Peter, those are the people that I think could possibly be her fiance. The reason why I say this is because the chemistry I feel between them, like, I'm just like, I know this. I'm like the chemistry doctor. Anyways, from watching the show, the chemistry that I see between them just feels so palpable and real. And I just like the fact that Brian is so honest and open with her. And I see a lot of, like, Rachel, like, pushing back because I feel like she's like, oh, this is too good to be true. Like, he's too charming, he's too this. And I'm like, sis, let it happen because he is a good guy. Like, I just feel... And I know, like, I don't know him, but from what I see from him is that he just seems really genuine, and I feel like the genuine moment. And oh my gosh, when they kiss, when they freaking kiss, it is like this magnetic pulling forward, and it's just like, he's just like, yes, this is my girl. And I'm like, oh, you got me shook, Brian. Shook. And I'm here for it. So I'm really happy with how the date between her, anyways, the moment that Brian did, this is how bad I am, guys. I don't know if that was a one-on-one or a special moment, whatever. I don't really care. They had a moment and it was real and it was great. Kenny. The whole Kenny and Lee situation of this episode had me bawling on the floor. When Kenny was going off on him and he was calling him a disingenuous snake and that he was going to put his balls on his chin because he was a beep, you know what I'm saying? Kenny had me dying, but I felt for Kenny. I was like, Lee is, like, he's a terrible person. He's one of those people who do it in such a passive aggressive way, but like, it just gets into your skin and you just simmer on it and you're like, wow, like, they just played the F out of me, didn't they? And you're like, your other self was like, yep, they did. They totally played you. And that's why Kenny was getting so upset, because he knew personally that he was letting Lee get to him. And it was just all bad. It wasn't cute, it wasn't good, but it happened. Provoking Kenny, a stack of blood and muscle. Lee, just the way Lee talks it's literally so snaky. He's just like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know how to get underneath his skin. I got this. Rachel, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, do you even care about Rachel? Like I said, like, I feel like Lee does not give one flying you know what about Rachel. And it's like, why are you here, bro? Josiah made a comment and he was saying tensions have been rising, and I'm like, haven't tensions been rising since like episode 1 because this is a competition? Like, I just get so annoyed when the guys have their moment and they state the obvious of the obvious, and I'm like, you're on a game show. Like, did you forget? Like, you're writing for one person? It's one Rachel. Like, it was 30 of y'all. So, like, it just annoys me when people do that. Oh, it was a group date. So, Brian got the group date rose. And it makes sense. She likes his charm, attitude, personality. To me, Brian's got the ish together. Brian knows what he wants. He's not playing. He's someone who's serious. Like, all these guys are like, oh, I came here and Rachel's gonna be my wife. But like, he's one of the few that I actually like. When he says something like that, I'm like, I can see it. I believe it, because you're being very genuine. And then I put in here Kenny with the passive aggressive speech, and that was just when it came out, when he was like, oh, I'm going to put my, you know, my dick on your face. That happened, and it just made me laugh, because you could tell Kenny was trying to be so composed and together, but like, really, it just came out, and it was like, really like I'm just so angry, but I'm gonna try it like this. But like, you know, it was just, Lee just got to him so bad. Literally, this whole episode, this whole review could just me be saying, Lee got to him. It happened. He broke him down. He broke that man down, and it was a sad sight to see. I'm just reading this note that I put. His dad said, nah, he's a B. He good. Kenny, like I said, Kenny got rocked. Rocked. There's no other way to say that Kenny got rocked. Rachel is so dang on cute. Hair laid, outfit on point. When she was in that all black, and I was like, yes, sis, you better hit him with that thigh action. You better show off them thighs, show them boots. And I was just, yeah. Let's talk about that single date with Jack. That was a mess. Like, in the sense of like, I felt like they were on two separate dates. Rachel was over here like, oh, this is cool, I mean, I guess, but like, I feel like we're not getting past this wall. And then Jack is like, I've been waiting for this date my whole entire life. Everything just feels so right, and it's just falling into place, and this could be my wife. And I was like, I'm just really, like, the disconnect was so real that like, there was no chemistry. Rachel was laughing just because, like, I felt like she felt bad. Rachel number 3 was, like, freaking sick. So I just don't think she enjoyed the date as a whole. And then that awkward situation when he was, like, trying to give her a kiss, and she was, like, basically kind of like, Number 1, she was like that because she was sick. But then number 2, I was just like, I didn't really think that she wanted that kiss. Like, it was just kind of, it was very lackluster. And I was like, Jack, I applaud you for trying, but baby, no. Like, Jack, he seems like he possibly could be like a really nice and genuine guy, but he just does the most. Like, from his smile to his personality, it's just the most for me, and I really wasn't feeling it from the jump. Like, the way he smiles when he does that, like, the deep head tilts, and I'm like, it just gives me creepy vibes. And when they were on the date and he was talking about he thinks he knows her dad and that they would like really connect, it's like, what have you talked about to this point that would make you think that like, oh yeah, your dad, he loved me. He's a jokester. We get each other. We totally, I'm like, and Rachel was like, yeah, he does that with people that he knows and he feels comfortable with. And Brian. And Jack was just like, yeah, I know. Me and your dad, we totally, like, we'd hit it off. And I was just like, this is so thoroughly awkward. And that's why he thoroughly got sent home, because there was no chemistry, no nothing. Nothing past that deep, creepy smile. Just creepy. Sorry. Sorry if you like Jack. His smile creeped me the F out. Bringing back up race again, I said Lee does not care. The fact that he says he's playing the race card shows that he is one of those people who think black people who act like that are too sensitive. It's not about being sensitive. It's about knowing what's appropriate to say and what not to say. So this situation happened between when Will brought it to Lee's attention that it's not cool to call an African-American man aggressive because of the connotations and the history behind saying like, oh, that man is aggressive, when really he's not being aggressive. It's just you feel threatened in a way because you know that Rachel and him had a stronger connection. So that's what I think that Lee was saying when he was saying aggressive, not to like to defend him and be like, oh, this is the real reason why he was saying aggressive. He said aggressive because he's just not a good person. Like, do I think that Lee is racist? Maybe not, but he has a lot of racist tendencies that maybe he should look at himself in the mirror and think about when he goes home, you know, in the future, when he reads everybody's tweets, comments under these videos, Facebook posts, you know, that people in America kind of low-key think he might be racist. So I think it's great that this episode came out so he can now analyze maybe the better way to go about things when he's talking about that. And it just pissed me off to go back to what I said, that it's like people who play the race card. Like, I don't think that Kenny was trying to play the race card. It's just, you know, it's hard being somebody who's African American. It's hard for Rachel to be in this platform and her being African American. Like, these are just things that, you know, sometimes people who are not of color don't think about. So they're like, oh, when somebody black brings it up, they're like, oh, you're just trying to play the race card and you're being this and that. It's like, no, you just don't understand the perspective that I'm coming from. And I think that's all what this whole situation was wrapped up. But do I think Leah's a racist? No, he just has racist tendencies. Sip on that tea, but it's water. I wrote these notes out of order a little bit, guys. I am so sorry. Don't yell at me. But I'm going back here to the question that Rachel asked Jack about what would he do if he took her on a date and they were home, and he said he would lock the door. Literally, do not ever start a sentence with "I would lock the door." That is a sure warning that any woman in America is gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna just have to like go. That was like the weirdest response that he possibly could have had. Like, okay, cool, you want to Netflix and chill. Say Netflix and chill at this point. Don't tell me you want to lock the door and like get weird. I don't know. It just really like threw me off when he said that, because I was like, ooh, and can you see that she's not feeling the answer to this question? Like, it was just all bad. That whole date was all bad, like I said. So then we got to the episode, to the part of the episode where they do the rose ceremony. People like Iggy was like, I just hope that I don't, like, that it's not the end of my time because of all the drama that's happened. I'm like, honey, you were the epicenter of drama, Mr. Wendy Williams Jr. Like, come on, Iggy. Now you're thinking about, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have never inserted myself into this much drama. Maybe you shouldn't have. Maybe you should have thought about that before you started going spreading all the tea that you thought was hot and piping. And that's why Iggy got sent home. So not sad to see Iggy go, because I don't know. I just didn't see a future between him and Rachel, and he was quite annoying, guys. Quite annoying. First of all, Kenny kept putting out snake puns, and it was funny for like 2 seconds, but then it kind of got annoying, and it was like, okay, Kenny, enough with the dang old snake puns. We get it. Leah's a snake. We all agree. You're not wrong, sweetheart. But then we were like this close in the episode to be like, okay, I think this is it. Leah's finally going home. But then, spoke too soon, she gave freaking Lee a rose. And I was like, why? Why, Rachel? Why? But then it goes back to showing you that the producers probably told her to keep him a little bit longer because we had to keep the drama going between Kenny and Lee. Like, you just couldn't leave the drama off like that kind of, like, at such a high point between them two. So I get what the producers did there, but like as a viewer and as an avid watcher, I'm like, ugh, I cannot stand Lee. He doesn't like her, for one. Does he even like black women? Like, I'm just so confused. So we did not get to pour out our liquor just yet for Lee because the producer said no, he's got to stay. So they went to Norway, and I'm like, great, but I'm also like, who picked this spot out? Nothing against people in Norway, that's great. I think I have a couple people from Norway who watch this, but that was just like a really interesting choice. Me personally, if it was me, which I know it's not, okay, but like I would be like, can you send me to like Trinidad and Tobago, like Turks and Caicos, some Jamaica, somewhere warm where I could show off some skin and not have to like put on a sweater? Because there was a lot of sweaters happening, and I was like, dang, Rachel, you can't even really show off. You can't stun on them because you got to put a sweater on. Of the episode, Brian got a single date, and everybody was just a little bit upset because they're like, Brian's getting so much attention already. Like, why is he getting a single date? And I'm like, because Brian got that juice. Brian knows what he wants and has been very vocal about it. So you need to step your cookies up before they crumble, guys. You know, that's what I'm saying. That's all I had to say. So they were all like, kind of like, you know, moaning about the fact that they were like, ugh, Brian got the single date and I wanted it to be me. Step it up. But, oh, that date though, when they rappelled from that side of the freaking building, I was like, whoa, this is not a date that I can stand behind. Not saying that like I'm scared of heights or anything, because I'm not, but that was like a really long rappel. But you know what? Brian was there. He was a great cheerer on. Very supportive. Like, they were so cute. They kissed. They laughed. It just felt very genuine, and I was like, this feels good. This feels right. And I'm not even on the date, and I feel totally okay about this. So that date was shapoppin'. I was okay with that ABC, minus the fact that that seemed very dangerous. It was good. It was pretty good. I will say that kiss, they had the mics up very loud, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. I'm just kidding. It didn't make me feel uncomfortable. I was like, why are the mics so loud? Because that kiss was like... Moving on to something else important. That little personal thing that they had during the date, their little dinner. She kept asking, why does she, like, in her personal interview, she's like, I don't understand why Brian doesn't have a girl. And I'm like, Brian doesn't have a girlfriend currently because some women are not ready for a man who knows what he wants. Like, some people out here trying to still stunt, flex, you know, do their little fun thoughtbot stuff. And that's totally okay. No one's judging for that. But that's the real reason why he doesn't have a girl right now. Not because of anything bad he's doing. It's just some people are not in the same place that some guys are, you know? And that's what I don't think Rachel understands. So it's pissing me off a little bit when Rachel was like pushing back. I'm like, baby, you should let me love you. Let me be the one to. That's literally what Brian was saying. And I'm like, Rachel, get it, understand it, grasp it, take it in. So I thought it was really interesting that it was finally brought up by Eric that he thinks that Rachel just might be feeling the white guys just guys, there is a sticker inside of my shirt. That Rachel might be feeling the white guys more than the black guys. Did not my mother already touch on this fact? That I think is true. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Eric and I want to see him. He is personally in my top 3. So I want to see him, you know, climb up to the top. But I do think in this moment of time, Rachel has more of affinity to the white guys. Not saying that the black guys were bad. It's just sometimes you go through phases in your life where you're just like, I like this more. I like this more. I like this more. And this might be one of the phases because have we seen the people who are left? There's literally, what, 2 black guys left. But even, is there 2 black guys left anymore? I don't even think so. So, but in this point, it was only like 3 or 2 of them. And I'm like... It makes sense, but I just thought it was really interesting that it was finally brought up and that Will was like, well, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, the tea is yes. But she does like Eric. So good for Eric that he's like the #1 black guy. You know, I'd rather be the #1 black guy than no black guy at all. Did that make any sense? Probably not. So they went on a group date and they played handball. Why, ABC? Why? First of all, I'm just not that into sports. So this part was just kind of like, great, you're doing handball. That's so good for you. Granted that I'm sure Rachel was like, this is great because she loves sports so much. But I was just not feeling the handball. Second of all, what the hell were those outfits that they had them wearing? They looked like wrestlers' outfits, and this was clearly different from what the actual handball team was wearing. They were basically wearing soccer outfits, and I was like, why did they not get to wear soccer outfits, huh? Like, sexualizing those men's bodies. I'm just kidding because, you know what? Some of them did look pretty good in those outfits, okay? But I just thought it was interesting that they chose to not go with the same soccer outfits. The date overall when they were playing handball was cool. I definitely think that Peter was trying to, you know, he was trying to show her what them hands really do because handball is life, okay? I definitely like that Will stepped it up because Will was somebody that I was interested in seeing more because I always see him at the rose ceremonies and I'm like, who is Will? What is he bringing to the table? So it was nice to see him step out of his shell, showing Rachel that he's serious and that he was going to play the handball game for her heart. And then when they got to their little, kind of like the cocktail section of the date, it was quite nice to see Will open up a little bit more, and then it was just nicer to see the guys open up. But I really did enjoy the moment between her and Peter when they like got into the hot tub, and I was like, yes, Peter, you better grab on her and touch on her and rip her face off. When Peter and Brian are on the screen, it's literally, I'm looking at like the identical same relationships. I'm like, they're literally interchangeable. Are they the same person? No, they're not. But I mean, if one don't work out with Rachel, I am looking. I'm just kidding. I'm not looking. That was a joke. I really enjoy the moments that they show with Kenny and his daughter, because you could tell that they actually have a really good relationship, and he takes full care, full responsibility for that girl. And it was just so cute, but also sad when he was crying, because I'm like, I know he really wants to be with his daughter, but also he really likes Rachel. So it's just kind of like that. Where do you find the happy medium in the middle of that situation? You know, that kind of deal. But that moment was so sweet. They're so cute together. So let's talk about that Josiah and Rachel moment. It was one of the most awkward situations for me too, because like Rachel said, I feel like their relationship was very face value. There was never any moment to me that I think that they have like dug deep into the relationship where I was like, okay, I could see there be a future. Like, it's all about Josiah being like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. You're going to be my wife. Like, God said that you're going to be my wife. And that's all great and stuff. But like, what are you doing to ask her to get to know her? And I think that was the dichotomy that was missing throughout their whole relationship on the show. So for him to be like, oh, it's great. I really think that we got somewhere tonight. And I was like, where did you go? Because I missed that train. Honey, like, I was not here for it. I didn't understand it. A and B, 2 trains converging at night, you know? So that whole little moment was just weird, because it's just so funny to me, like, to see, like, Rachel's like, nah, and then Josiah was like, this was so great. This was so amazing. And I'm like, where the f is the disconnect coming at, you know? And then when Peter got low-key upset about not getting the rose, I was like, Peter, what do you need a rose for? Like, you just had a hot tub moment. Is that not enough? Stop being greedy, Pooh. Let other people have their shining star moments, because we know Rachel is basically in love with you. So chill. And then to end off this lovely episode, we end off with the 2-on-1 date between Lee and Kenny, because you know ABC's got to take it to the what? Max. Okay. What I really appreciate about Kenny is that he is a very genuine and vulnerable, open person. There's been a lot of like lies been spread directly from Lee to Rachel, and all Kenny was trying to do was just to show that he is serious about Rachel and that he wanted the relationship to go further. So I appreciate him, you know, kind of explaining the situation. But to me, when he was explaining the situation, I just felt like kind of Rachel was just kind of like, yeah, I get it, but like I also kind of don't care. Let me know in the comments below if you felt kind of that way. I just don't know. Like, the Rachel and Kenny like relationship to me is more like a friendship than it is a relationship in any way. And I don't see it developing any further than that. And then Lee, I just don't even want to talk about Lee, because Lee is a turd and lies any second he can get the chance to lie about Kenny. Specifically, only Kenny. Only Kenny. Nobody else. Just Kenny. So that whole episode in a nutshell was pretty good. You know, they focused a lot on the Kenny and Lee dynamic, but it was nice to see people like Will step up and show Rachel that he was trying to do something. But, you know, sometimes those things don't really pan out. But we're going to talk about that on part 2. So stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to talk about part 2. Okay, bye.